Good morning, good evening, everyone. So today we are here, the USMLE Sarthi team, and we are going to talk about match season 2023, the timeline, planning, and other tips and guidance. So hopefully you have already started planning for this season. So we'll talk about what exactly you should be doing now, what are the important dates, planning and preparation for your program search, ERAS CV, personal statement. And of course, if you're interested with USMLE Sarthi, then we can discuss that as well. We are going to be discussing each of the timeline month by month and some of the tools and websites that you can use for this match. Now, if you're a Sarthi student, of course, you should have this timeline and much more in terms of your review on our website. So we can discuss that as well. Let's first discuss the important dates. There are 3 or 4 important dates that you need to know. First is June 28th, which is in a couple of days. That is when the ERAS token is going to be out for IMGs for the 2023 match season. You can purchase and register for the ERAS token. Then the second important date is August 1st. This is when the supplemental ERAS application opens up. So for those of you who are aware or who may have applied last season, supplemental ERAS application was something new that they started last season. And it applies to IM, specifically neurology and a few other specialties. So, that supplemental ERAS application opens 1st of August. That finishes, or the deadline is September 16th. Then in the month of September, the ERAS application opens up for submission. That is September 7th. So that means you can actually start submitting your ERAS application, the CV, the personal statement, everything, and you can certify starting September 7th. But the deadline, it's not the deadline, but the date at which the programs will access the application is 28th September. So we do recommend everyone finishes and submits the ERAS application by September 28th, and the supplemental application September 16th. Like I said, the other date is June 28th. This is when the ERAS tokens are opening up in a couple of days. Of course, this is a suggested timeline and things will vary with the individual applicant's situation. So now let's talk about month by month, what happens each month, and that can help you plan. So we are in June. By now, you should be finishing up your exams. At least you should have done one of the steps, and the second step also you should be planning to finish either step 1 or CK. OET, as you know, is a requirement, so that has to be done. Clinical rotations, absolutely you should have started. If not started yet, at least 3 LORs are a requirement almost everywhere from the US physicians. So, plan accordingly, July, August, September. But of course, more is welcome. You should be starting on your research at some level. And of course, if you need help with research, our research course starts in July, the next batch, and we can help you publish as well. If you're looking for clinical rotations, of course, go to our website. That is also something we can help with. More than 100 locations that we offer in terms of tele-rotations, in terms of on-site, and you can check it out. So then it's also a good time, once the ERAS token opens up, to request your letters of recommendations if you have already done those rotations. So asking your attending that you're rotating with for the letters of recommendation, they can start uploading it after 28th. Of course, we do provide specific classes to our students on how to get excellent, personalized, customized LORs. So if you are a Sarthi student, you should have access to such classes. Remember that waived LORs are always more important. They carry much more weight. Unwaived LORs are not that important. Okay, then what happens at the side is the Ecfmg certification. Of course, you know it's a lengthy process, so you got to start it. It is important for all IMGs. It is not a requirement to apply, so you don't need to be Ecfmg certified to apply, but it always helps. So it will help you if you are always certified by 28 September. It is not a requirement. And of course, to be Ecfmg certified, you should know step 1, step 2 CK, OET, and your pathway approval. All that needs to be done along with credential verification. And most IMGs will go through pathway 1. And of course, there is a pathway 6 if you don't have a home country board certification or you failed CS or some other issues. But mostly it's going to be pathway 1. Then we come to August. 1st of August, like I said, the ERAS supplemental application will open up. Deadline September 16. You should be continuing your research and USC in August so that you can show the programs. You're not sitting idle and doing something clinically relevant, or at least in research relevant to residency. Okay, then we also want to understand and talk about the program research, which programs to apply to, the program list as this is called. We don't recommend buying external lists. There are various sources that you can use and you can make your own list. Of course, Sarthi students do get the free program list, which is customized and personalized. And what we recommend, and that's what we use, Frida. You can go to Frida, you can go to Residency Explorer. And what we also do as part of the Sarthi list is we get the data from our match students. So where they matched, what their profile is. So we combine all of that, and based on your year of graduation, visa status, scores, you get a customized list that comes free with our program, bronze, gold, or platinum. But otherwise, you can use Frida, you can use Residency Explorer, but make your own list if you really are looking to target the specific programs. You can go ahead and buy these lists from outside, not really recommended. Now, of course, our list also is integrated with interview preparation. So we can tell you specific interview questions that the programs are asking, because our students, when they interview and come back, they give us those questions and we discuss with them. So each program, what they're asking, how was the interview day like, how many interviews do you have at that program, all that data you can get from us. Okay, coming to September, I already discussed. September 7th is when the ERAS application opens. You have till September 28th to have the best shot to apply, certify. That is September 28th. Programs do not access your list before, or your application before September 28th. So you should remember that. Of course, the other thing to remember is once you have certified, completed, submitted your ERAS CV, you cannot make any changes to it. You can always have multiple personal statements. You can always apply different LORs to different programs. ERAS CV cannot change, only your personal information, phone number. I think the temporary address can change. So, of course, we do have exclusive classes on how to write your personal statement. There is an extensive process that we use to review and edit your personal statement. It goes through the journalists twice and a physician. And likewise, on the ERAS CV, we give you step-by-step on how to make your ERAS CV. It's not only just filling up those boxes. Each and every line matters, how you write, what you write, how you added value. So we also have a journalist and physician review of the ERAS statement. Then in the timeline comes the interviewing season. So if the last season is any guide, you will start receiving interviews in October. It can go all the way through February. and you should continue to be clinically active. If you're in your home country, do research, do work or do research. But October onwards will be the time when programs will start interviewing. Of course, this is the most important season or important time in the season for IMGs, and it is the make or the break. There is a small break in the interview season, as you can imagine, around Thanksgiving, the last Thursday of November. So it's a holiday, Thursday, Friday, those 3 or 4 days, not many interviews happen. And then around Christmas, New Year's, those 5 to 6 days, there's a break, no interviews will happen. Of course, those of you who are preparing for step 3 should also plan accordingly between now and October. If you can take step 3, that improves your chances. When it comes to interview preparation, start early. Our recommendation is August. That's when we start with our students. So we have extensive classes on each and every aspect of the interview prep, about 80 to 90 questions we practice with each of our students. There are mock interviews. And then, of course, we do provide a rank order list tool as well, so that you can rank order your programs. Now, what happens in January is important. Pre-COVID, there would be a lot of cancellation interviews because, due to weather issues, because travel gets to you, it's very mentally and physically draining. Anyone with 10 plus interviews would have to travel to each location, and therefore they would cancel. Remember that each year, including the last 2 years, there are IMGs who get 30, 40, 50 interviews. We had one applicant with 52 interviews last season. But now looks like even in this season, most of the interviews will be virtual. What that means? It means 2 things. One, people with more interviews are likely to take them, not cancel them, which means cancellation interviews will be less. I'm sorry. And it also means that you save a lot of cost in not traveling. So there will be less cancellation interviews. So be aware of that. Excuse me. And so you got to plan accordingly if you are not having interviews. And during the season, we'll talk about that. Now, the other thing that many of the IMGs don't know is then the match system is a different system. It is called NRMP. Is the National Residence Matching Program. This is different from FRIDA, different from ERAS. You have to register separately for NRMP if you want to go in match. The deadline is January 31st, so there is time for that. And of course, the interview season can continue till the rank order list deadline. So the programs and the applicants have the same deadline for rank order list, which I think for this season is March 2nd or March 3rd. So we have time, we'll check on the exact date. That is when the rank order list tool closes at the NRMP. You submit your program list and the program submits their rank order. And that's the end from your perspective. And then, of course, the match week. So on March 13, 2023, you will know if you've matched or not. Then the SOAP process kicks in for unfilled position between 13th and 16th of March. And 17th of March, the Friday, you will know, where you have matched. So that is the summary of the timeline. Hopefully you got it, the important dates. And during the season, we'll continue to have more updates for you in this timeline. Now, if you have questions, we can take. I know there are a lot of questions that we already got. When should we start working on personal statement? So personal statement takes time, as we always say to our students, it takes about a couple of months to refine. We recommend starting in July so that, you can make those iterations, continuing to add to it. You don't have to write everything in 1 week or 1 day. But starting July is a good idea. Our students get 3 reviews, so we've already started. When can we start the application? This will be, you can start filling in the application on after you get the token on June 28th. Okay. So some of the other questions we got: how to find observerships to get good LOR. So, of course, you can write to the programs, write to the clinics. We also have a website. You can look up rotations. Hands-on rotations are more powerful than observerships, and all our students get customized LOR. So look it up. Next question. Can we start the application even if Ecfmg certification is awaited? Yes, you can start it. There's no issue with it. Is putting pediatrics rotation in your ERAS CV decreasing your chances for IM interviews? We do recommend specialty-specific LORs. And so you can definitely put in the ERAS CV that you rotated at a pediatrics clinic or a hospital. But when it comes to LOR, we recommend IM LOR in your case. LORs from January 2022, okay for this match. So it depends on the quality. It is a 1.5 year old LOR. We do recommend recent LOR, Stephanie, but I guess we'll have to look at it to decide. Is taking step 2 mid-August considered safe enough? It will depend on your, if you, obviously the score, what is your step 1 score? It is safe, but you may not be certified on time. So depending on other parts of your profile, you're cutting a fine line. So if you take it early, that will be good. Can we upload LOR after end of September? Good question. What happens is programs do not typically go back and download new LORs. You can upload it, of course, if you have not assigned 4 to a program. Will they go back and download? We don't know. Very high level question. How can we get into OBGYN? We actually had an OBGYN match this season, and I can tell you what it takes. We get a couple of matches every year. We got a match in Optha, OBGYN this year. US research is critical. Home country residency helps. High scores, absolutely important. Unless you have been working diligently in OBGYN field itself, hard to get, but US research will definitely help you a lot. Does getting ICU attending LORs make any significant difference? It depends on which specialty you're talking about. Any attending LOR is important. Will interviews be virtual this season? Good question. Yes, as far as we know, the recommendations are that all programs should conduct it virtually. Now, there could be cases that some programs don't take these recommendations, but I think most will. It will almost be certain that they are virtual. Now, programs could offer a hybrid model, first interview virtual, second interview on-site. We don't know. It will be dependent on the program. Can step 3 score be uploaded after September? Yes, it's a self-reporting thing. The programs don't get to see it unless you tell them. You can do it after September. Is it right that step 3 makes CV stronger for match, Sunil? Absolutely. It also depends on your profile. If you're a 260 recent graduate, 3 electives, you don't need step 3. But yes, in most cases, it'll absolutely help you. What is the right time to send letter of interest? It depends on you, how much you want to chase the programs. It's not a one-time deal. July, August, you can start sending. Step 3 versus USCE. I think, again, it depends on your profile. No student typically matches without USCE, but they do match without step 3, right? So absolutely step 3 is important, but unless you have 3 or 4 months of USCE, it won't help you. And if you cannot get on-site USCE, try to get tele rotations. We have a lot of rotations where you actually interact with the patients, you do the history, you use EMR system, you present to the attendings. Those kind of teles also help. Would working for a cardiologist be okay for both IM and FM programs? Absolutely, IM. FM, it will depend on how you project your work experience. FM looks for primary care, preventive care, women's health. So it depends on how you end up projecting it. What to write in CV if you just graduated your med school, if you have to apply for observerships or hands-on program. So you can talk about your internship and other aspects that you learned. Maybe you worked in a resource constrained environment. So something that will help you get those rotations. What is the guidance schedule for interview preparation by USMLE Sarthi? Rupan, good question. We will start interview preparation in August. It takes time. August is, and in fact, our students start indirectly the interview prep now, because even in the PS and CV, you have to prepare for interview from your PS and CV. So how you write your PS and CV actually starts your interview prep. But formally, we start in August. We go up to December. I think August would be a good time to start. Applying for match in 2024. So that's the next season. Should I go for hand-on rotation from December 22 to Feb 23, or would it be old? So I think it's a good idea to start in December 2022 and do the hands-on between December to maybe April, May, June, something like that, with breaks maybe in 23 if you're applying for 24 match. Is it good to take step 3 before completion of application? Yes, why not, if you can. If we have job experience in different specialty, then we are applying to, will that have any effect? Well, I mean, you have to look at it at 2 levels, right? Every specialty has some commonality, so you have to project that commonality. But of course, if you have experience in surgery, applying to pathology, hard to make that connect. I'm kind of confused by timeline regarding September 16th. It seems like application closes on September 16th. No, the application closes September 28th. 16th is supplemental ERAS application. There are 2 things: supplemental ERAS application and the CV. Supplemental ERAS application closes September 16th. The ERAS application closes 28th. It doesn't really close on 28th. Let me be very clear. That is day 1, and most programs get about 3,000 to 5,000 applications within the first 2-3 days. So it doesn't close on September 28th, but try to apply before then. Any word if there will be filters for low step 1 scores now that it is pass fail? So this is the first season, right? When step 1 is going to be pass fail, at least IMGs are, many IMGs will be there in the pass fail. I think programs will have an increased emphasis on CK score. There will absolutely be filters on step 1. Let there be no confusion. If you have a 210 versus 260, it will make a difference. 260 will definitely get more preference. And this will go on for the next 2-3 seasons. What are prospects of returning to India after doing MD internal medicine in US? Prospects, there are a lot of opportunities. Your salary is now commensurate with that in the US. If you are board certified in the US, you go back. Some of our students have gone back. Prospect wise, there are a lot of private hospitals now. So it is improving that there. If I do telerotation with Sarthi, do I get help with my personal statement and application? No. Those plans are the platinum, gold, and bronze plans, and they are separate from our telerotations. Let me put a link there as well, so that those of you who are looking can actually look at our plans as well. So this would be a right time to explore if you are interested. So here's the link I just posted. Can you explain what supplemental ERAS is, please? So last season, ERAS or the authorities came up with a supplemental application. It's an add-on to your application, It asks some other questions. So we'll go over the application in another video, although last year's video you can see on our website. Is YOG filter very strict or the scores comparatively? YOG is a smaller, softer filter. How to deal with high YOG 2018? It's not that old, you will be fine. What is the last day to complete all the steps to go into the match? If you're looking at the last day, just make sure your CK, step 1, etc. is available by September 28th. Ideally, you should be certified. What is the cost of interview preparation? There are various plans. I just texted the link below. Interview preparation comes with about 15 classes, about 90 questions, mock interviews, starts at, I think, about $1,000. Which LOR is better, university observerships or clinical externship? It depends. Mix could be important. Maybe you're doing an observership at Mayo Clinic, which is not hands-on. But if you get an LOR, Cleveland Clinic, maybe one or two of that is okay. But clinical externship at affiliated clinics, maybe under a PD, is a good idea as well. Okay, good step 3 score, USC versus publication and USC, which is better. Like I said, if you don't have USC, get USC. You're not going to match without USCE. Publications all come later on. They are important, but without USCE, you're not going to match. I have home country residency in OBGYN, also certified, but I'm applying to IM. How to cover this change in specialty. So this is something we talk about in our classes. There are skills that are transferable. You can use your skills. FM is also a good fit for that. If, of course, you are going to OBGYN, then, of course, it's a straightforward story. All right. YOG 2012, step 1 to 12, 246 in CK, 2 US LORs. What can I do to increase more chances? You cannot address the gaps. I mean, gaps are, if you've been clinically active, they're not gaps really. 2 US LORs are not going to cut it. It is not about LORs. It is about US experience. You can get 2 LORs in 2 weeks. So more US clinical experience is definitely the way to go. Research publications at this point can help. Maybe you get a full-time research positions. Can IMG get into emergency medicine? If then, how many weeks of EM rotation should I take? Very hard to get into EM, although we've had some success. As many EM rotations, maybe at least 3 months, if not more. Last day to complete, also we already answered it. Supplemental ERAS, I told you. Is neurology residency still IMG friendly? Absolutely. This is one of the most IMG friendly specialties. Double 250s green card holder. Does step 3 before 28 September make a significant difference? No, you should be fine. Double 250s, a green card. Low step 3 score. Well, I mean, it's a scored exam, so higher score is always better. Low score is not adversely affecting the application in your case, but yeah, it's not a good sign. How important to have research papers? Like I said, there are things that matter in match. Scores, USCE, research. Research is important, but you need USCE and good scores as well. So, but it is important to have good publications, yes. No Cfmg certification, will that decrease number of interviews? Depends on your score. Certification is needed to go and into the match. So for the rank order list is absolutely needed. How to find research in OBGYN? The best would be to contact the programs directly. We do have a class on that for our student. Can step 3 make up for lack of publications? Yeah, I mean, if you don't have publications, step 3 will help. Does 2017 graduates are considered old graduates? No, you are 5 years, you should be fine. July is a busy time. Is it a good time for letter of interest? You're right. It's a big busy time for the programs, maybe after 15 July. Should I visit programs in person before application? If they entertain you, then you can. I cannot see the link for the interview plan details, and that is because they are not open yet. We will open it up in July and August. This is about the USMLE SARTHI interview plans. Does working as a medical assistant consider USCE? Yes, you can use it. Although, of course, LOR on affiliated clinic where you've worked and demonstrated your skills as a physician really helps. Does having a J1 for research going to affect getting H1B residency visa in near future? If you have J1 for research, you cannot go in for H1B for residency. Will US citizenship help in OBGYN match? Well, I mean, OBGYN is a difficult one. You need to have other things as well in addition to having citizenship. Is 1 year clinical gap significant? Yes, but without knowing much about your profile, cannot comment. 2015 graduate, no attempts, EAD, so no visa requiring, scores greater than 235. What are the chances? Hard to say. What is the USCE? You're applying to FM. What kind of FM experience have you gotten in 7 years? Preventive care, community health, OBGYN, women's health, pediatrics, what experience? Because if you have 7 years of gap, then it's a hard one. Employed in home country, 2018 graduate, couldn't come to US for observerships. Can do tele-rotations compensate? It depends. Some, like I said, some of our tele-rotations do give you patient interaction, EMR access, presentations to the attending. You can definitely try. Does it matter when we completed our internship? It does matter, especially if you are from India. Programs are now very aware that people extend their externships. So any gap, any extension more than 6 to 9 months, they will know. Is 2 US LORs and 1 non-US LOR acceptable? It is not about being acceptable. It is about being, do they value it? And in general, they don't value non-US LORs unless, of course, you really got it from a very renowned, world-renowned faculty. Is it hard to get into general surgery as an IMG? It is hard, but not as hard. Every year we have 5 or 6 definitely match into categorical general surgery. So it's not as hard as maybe OBGYN and dermatology. If we have research experience in another field, then we are applying, will it matter? May not matter, it depends. There are many skills, analysis, hypothesis generation, statistical skills that are common. So you can use those. We offer match assessment to candidates. We do have a profile review, but we are very busy, so we have to do it over email. You can look up our website. We don't really, we may not have time for a phone consultation. 2017 graduate, step 1, 239, step 2, CK 250, 6 months USCE, planning to get 2 months USCE, 12 publication, CS attempt. What's your advice? Well, which specialty? If you are IM, match is possible. What is a community program? Community program is something which is not affiliated with the university. A lot of programs, majority of programs are community programs. Match chances with 3 non-US based LORs, very hard unless they are UK or Irish LORs. How to cover gaps? Open CV, I don't know the question, what it means. You cannot cover the gaps, it is what it is. Does my home country IM residency help me in getting matched in neurology? Absolutely, it will. We just have to, showcase the neuro-specific skills, experiences, and then, of course, as part of your home country, how you interacted with the attendings, how you manage floors, patient, all that will help. How to find research positions in neurology, like I mentioned, reach out to the programs and the attendings directly. We have classes on that. We have a separate neurology group that can help you. How long does it take to be Cfmd certified if you apply by June? I think 6 to 8 weeks, if I'm not mistaken. Step 3 score of 215, will it help in match? It depends on other parts of your profile, but it's an okay score. Can program see where else we have applied? No, they cannot see, but they can absolutely guess where you are going to get the interviews from. Top IMG friendly specialties and states. We have a lot of videos on this on our YouTube channel, but I will tell you New York, New Jersey, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Michigan, Illinois are some of the IMG friendly states. When it comes to specialties, this is going to be IM, of course, FM, pediatrics, pathology, neurology, psychiatry. And here's a link to our YouTube channel for those interested. Visa requiring 2019, step 1, 238, 257, LOR through telerotation, 2 case reports. What are my chances to get into IM? I think do more USCE, you can match. If you cannot travel, do USCE where you have patient interaction. Definitely match is possible. We have had many students with 215 telerotations, etc. match. Indian Research 12 publication, original articles published in US Journal. Will it help to get an LOR from an Indian mentor? You can get it, but your scores and other aspects will matter in IM. 241, 234, USC 9 weeks, chances in FM. Like I said, scores are good. Score-wise, no issue, but it also depends on what the actual USC is, what your year of graduation is, what have you been doing since then. Any insight why HCA programs need to go into SOAP each year? I have no idea. Now, of course, some programs, depends. The prelim parts or the prelim positions do go into SOAP because they have their own students to cater to from a university setting, but you're right. HCA programs show up on SOAP very often. I don't know. What kind of filters program have for step 3? Like completed, not completed, based on score? It could be any. Different programs are different. There is no denying the fact that any score, any exam which has a score, high score is better, right? So we've had students with a 260 on step 3, which is better than a 210 or a 215, right? But yes, completion is better than non-completion. 7-year gap, graduate, all steps done, 3-year family medicine experience in home country, scribe clinic in FM, applying to FM or prelim year. Yeah, you can apply. That's fine. Does doing rotation in the US during interview season make a difference? Absolutely. We always advise our students and we tell them where to go because we know which physicians are going to call for you. It is important to show that you are clinically current. It is also important to make contacts because these physicians will call for you and you can get matched. Can you explain more about FRIDA? FRIDA is just to help you filter and see what programs you should apply to based on program requirements. You can go to the website and check it out. We will have a video on that also soon. Chances to match in surgery from LORs from home country, very tough. Visa requiring 2019, 238, 257. I think I already answered that. Let me go down and see. Good enough. Is it good to apply in transitional year along with specialty of interest? Yes, if you don't apply to the same program where the PD is same for transitional and categorical. Match a resident versus FRIDA versus Residency Explorer. So I already told you FRIDA and Residency Explorer should be your go-to things along with the program websites. All other paid program list positions are not worth it. In our opinion, we don't sell our list, so we don't know, but our list tends to be very comprehensive. Will backlog in MBBS affect selection? It depends. 1 or 2 attempts don't matter in your MBBS. More than that, yes. 263, 247, 2 years of clinical experience in pediatrics, home country in pediatrics. You will obviously easily match into pediatrics. Okay, so you get US clinical experience, you should be fine. Gap of 12 years with no experience, will I be able to get into residency? Very hard. Gap of 12 years, no experience is going to be very hard to. It depends on the specialty, but going to be very hard. Can you please name US IMG friendly surgical specialty? I do not understand the question. General surgery is the easier ones. Dermatology, OBGYN, ortho, etc. are going to be very hard. Can a candidate pursue residency on H4 visa? Not on H4, but H4 EAD, yes, you can pursue. After one fellowship, can we go into second fellowship if we don't secure residency? Yes, you can. Can programs see your step 1 score? Yes. Requirements of matching into psychiatry. Psychiatry is becoming very competitive. So research in psychiatry, step 3, rotations in psychiatry. Supplemental ERAS signaling, how will impact this season? We will have an analysis on that. Last season, it didn't really impact the signaling for those of you who are interested to know. But we'll have a video on that. 2017 graduate, Indian ophthalmology degree, 240, 248, chances in ophtha, quite less. Ophtha is one of the hardest. We did have a match this year in ophtha. She was doing research in the US for 2 years. USC 3 months, you can try the prelim positions, but ophtha categorical is going to be hard. Research in general surgery or any other place, you have to reach out directly. That's the only way to do it. US rotations versus working in home country in the interview season. US rotations can help you more. Does Sarthi have OBGYN group? No, we have mentors. There are very few people applying in OBGYN. So, OBGYN is a very specialized thing. So we don't have a group. There are more than 5 to 6 each years. You can do observerships on H4. You don't need H4 EAD. General surgery, IMG friendly, not as IMG friendly as internal medicine, but yes, people are matching. Will Cfmg 2024 change affect Indian student selection? No, you can look up our other videos. Can clerkship be done on B1, B2? I think clerkship can be done on B1, B2. Many of our students have done it. Done with anesthesia residency, how can I match in anesthesia? Anesthesia residency is good. I think you should look for a research position or anesthesia tech kind of positions here. What counts as voluntary experience in the US? Anything that you've done to give back to the community is voluntary. Red Cross, COVID, volunteering, those kind of things. Step 1, 229, CK 241, 3 months telehealth, YOG 2020. My chances in IM. Yeah, you got good chances. Depends again on the telehealth LORs. What have you done? Where have you done? And of course, your program outreach will matter. US LOR from IM doctor or home LOR from PEDS if applying to PEDS. Home country LOR are not useful, but again, in this case, IM doctor giving PEDS LOR, I don't know how useful that will be. So you still have 3 months. Get a PEDS LOR from the US. Which one is more competitive, neuro or IM? It depends, right? Neuro may be more forgiving on scores, but they look for commitment to neurology, neuro rotations, neuro research. Hard to say. Step 1, 248, CK 275, excellent CK, I may add, is very high. USC in radiology, green card holder, chances to get in IM and radio. Of course, USC, if you have in IM, it will be much easier. You can also go to prelim programs. Radiology needs some more research that will help, but you may get categorical invites in some community programs. So you got good chances. Ways to work with other, network with other IM residents and students. We have an extensive class. I think part of it we just posted on YouTube also under Dr. Harsh Patel. So you can look up that video. 12 years of gap, what specialty should I consider? I think pathology would be the easiest one if you've not done anything. 228, 225, working on observerships, will have 3 US LOR chances to match. It depends on what specialty you're talking. Observership alone is not going to cut it in IM. 2019 means 3 years, so hopefully you've been working. What should I write to programs while asking for observership? Exactly right what you're telling me. Ask for observership, that you're looking for US clinical experience, explain your profile. All right, I think that was all that we had. Thank you very much. I'll probably take a couple of other questions, and then, for those interested, you can get in touch with us for this season. Neurology chances 247, 269, home country in IM, residency in IM, USC 9 weeks. It depends on what that USC is, if you're planning to match in neurology, and also the year of graduation or year after you spent after IM residency. If you've been working in IM, maybe hard, but we can make it work. Should we complete our internship in India or not? Internship, I thought, was a requirement for Indian graduates. So without internship, you're not considered a graduate, I think. How to get good tele-rotations, LOR, participate, show your face, interact, you will get a good LOR. Canadian electives considered, they're okay, but not as good as US electives. But go ahead and it should be fine. You should be fine. I also wanted to just show you, for those of you who, how our classes look. So take a look at this. We have our own website for classes. This is our Matchflix program. All our classes are recorded here. You can watch trailers and all that on how we do our classes. Will it be good to apply for preliminary to match in anesthesia? Yes, it's a good idea. All right, thank you everyone. Thank you for spending time here. Hopefully this was useful, and we'll be in touch for other videos during the season. And by the way, you can follow us on Instagram if you have not done that so far. That's something where we do post a lot of useful tips as well, along with the Facebook group. So there's the Instagram that you may want to use. Okay, have a good weekend, all of you.